Looking for a job in Canada is a full-time job. Hmm. This is really a hard truth, and this information is based on several thoughts, conversations, and this is not to scare you or this is not to feel like, oh, what is going on. It's just to tell you that if you're going through that phase, you're not the only one, and to also kind of profile some level of solutions to hit? Yes. So let's start from it. So for every immigrant that lands in Canada, one of the things that concerns them is I need to get a job because maybe you are sleeping or waking up. You are actually paying one form of bills or the other. And I remember this word that looking for a job in Canada is a job on its own. When somebody said it, I'm wondering how possible. Like, I don't understand. How can you say that looking for a job is almost the same as job itself? So now I know better. I think I have come to understand that it is true. One of the reasons why people actually say that in getting a job in Canada, it's a bit I won't say difficult, but it's challenging. And the reason why it's challenging is because let's look at it, the numbers of immigrants or the numbers of people coming relocating to Canada every now and then or every month is getting, the numbers are on the rise. Even though people say that this situation of this job situation is not just yesterday or it's not just a year ago, it has always been there before now, because I remember reading an article on this Black History Month. Here is the lawyer that was showcased, and this lawyer has been in Canada for over 20 years. And I remember him talking about the fact that when he came to Canada, was it 20 years? I think about 10 years, not 20 years. And he did also, like, in the bid of, he had to do a lot of interviews before he even got the job. And when he got it, like, it took him a while. That was just what he was talking about. That it took him a while. And even though at first it was rough, but look at him now. He actually owns, he has many law firms here in Canada. I can't remember the name. I'll just look for the article and try to like put it up. And when I read the article, I was really encouraged. I really, what the Bible says that though your beginning may be small, but your later hand shall exceedingly increase. And that is actually true. So let's go back to the conversation and why people say that looking for a job in Canada is a job on its own. One of the major things when I was looking for a job and I started speaking with people when I landed was people would tell you job seeking in Canada is a game of numbers. That means you just don't want to send one resume and you feel like that is all. You want to keep sending. Some even told me that I need to do as much as 10 applications, submissions every day because it's a game of number. And really, I think it's actually true. It's a game of number, but later on I found out that as much as a game of number, it's a game of quality number, because if you're just, throwing out your resume and you're just dropping your resume, you might even do like over 100 applications and you hardly even get one interview. So it's more than a game of number, but it's a game of you also like tailoring your resume to each job opportunity or job vacancy, making sure that the keywords in the job are also in your resume. So now let's get back to it. So really, if for you to actually successfully do that, for successfully to send out 10 applications every day, it might just be like, oh, it should be it's easy now. I can easily do it, but you need to try it. Just try it first. And try it first. Before you know it, you find that you started by 9 o'clock and it's already 3 p.m. I was once in that situation. So I'm not even going to make you feel like, oh, it's just something you can do. But thank God for AI, which is what I begin to like employ. You can use ChatGPT, like, and what you do in your ChatGPT, you tell you like you upload your resume and you upload the job description and you ask ChatGPT to help you tailor the resume to according to the job posting. But the thing is that you have to be very careful, because I've had people say that they do all those tailoring, and now when they got to the interview, they were caught red-handed. You need to be careful that you don't put fake information in your resume, or because you just want to be caught for interview. Because Even the fact that you've gotten an interview does not mean that you're going to get a job. In fact, here in Canada, you see so many roles asking you to come for 2, 3 interviews. I have been there. I mean, there was a job that I was interviewed for that I even thought that, oh, this job, they picked me. But alas, after doing 3 interviews, they told me, unfortunately, and I can tell you, sometimes you need to do like 2, 3 interviews. So that's why you have to be careful in making sure that you're not just packaging your resume and then getting interviews, and at the end of the day, you're not able to scale through. Yeah. So really applying for a job, doing a quality submission, doing something that will tailor your resume to the job posting just takes a lot of time. And I can tell you, it can be emotionally draining. It can be, you can be emotionally draining. It can be all forms of draining. So here are some key strategies that I would say that in case you're looking out for a job, which is number one, volunteering. I really did not know how volunteering is so important, especially for me that I work in a non-profit for a very long time. I know volunteering is so important. In fact, I came into non-profit through volunteering. But volunteering is just something you just do passively and not so actively. But here in Canada, volunteering is such a big deal. In fact, if you have volunteered for 6 months or you have volunteered for 3 months, you can put it on your resume as a work experience. And that was what what do I call it? Cut the soap for me. That was the soap that was cut. When I was looking for a job and I was applying for different roles and none of them was calling me, or the numbers of interview that was getting were not impressive, because at times you even get some interviews and you have to do another round and all. I decided to also throw in some shot into volunteering, and I got my first volunteering role almost like immediately. Like, you have the right skills, obviously. So I got the volunteering while I'm also looking for a job. I was doing volunteering, and because here in Canada, a lot of employers usually play more, what would I call it? They play more value on Canadian experience or Canadian education, which is what I would say that when you volunteer Canadian, you can actually acquire Canadian experience. And now that I'm working, now I understand why Canadian experience is actually important. There are some things that you just need to work to learn it. I don't know how to say it. But really, there's some things that it is when you start working that you learn it. And I can't really blame this employer, because if you're coming from your country and yeah, you are starting a job, if you don't know some culture, can we even put it in a word? Like, I'm trying to put it in a word, but I don't know. But you just have to know some culture. Like, there's some culture, like for example, culture like small talks. Oh my god. At times I'm always tired. But you have to do small talks, kind of. Maybe the way you approach things is not like, oh, it has to be done now. It has to be done. Like, where I'm coming from, Nigeria, if your boss give you something, you gotta do it that day. Excuses is not. But in Canada, you can negotiate. You can let them know what is going on. It's not like too, like, nobody's enforcing you, or nobody's policing you or micromanaging you and all. So through volunteering, you can actually acquire that. In fact, one of when the first job that I got, it was through like the experience. The only Canadian experience that I had on the resume was just the volunteering. And when I was volunteering, I make sure that I put my mind into it. Let me tell you, if it's just 1 month you want to volunteer, put your mind into it. If it's just 2 months, if it's just 3 months, and have definite goals that you want to achieve. Another thing I would say is Canadian education. If you are going to be living in Canada for for a long time or for a while, you want to also consider getting Canadian education, because it's very important. Like, you can't just have your resume or what you are living in Canada and everything is on resume is just international education. My dear, please do try and get Canadian education in any way, in any form. And I think the easiest one is this postgraduate diploma. And I'm also taking one of the courses, and it's so easy. The beautiful thing about this postgraduate diploma is that it's just 8 months, and most times, even though it's a 1 year program, every like content creator deserves an accolade, because the the combination of perfectionists be with your setup and her, to think that I have said a lot of stuff. In fact, I was already wrapping up this video and I decided to, like, let me even check what I've recorded, and I found that my battery, the battery of the camera actually went off at a point, and now I'm actually doing the recording again, and this is 11 p.m. So I'm just going to join it together and all the good stuff. So what I was saying before was that I was talking about that you need Canadian education even if you have like tons of degrees from your, yeah, I know from your previous country or from your home country. I know it does work for some people that you don't need to, but really down the line, really you might have to even go to school. And I remember what I was saying before was I was saying it's not even that difficult. Like I'm currently taking a postgraduate diploma at in a university, and it's actually 1 year program, but it's more like 8 months because it's 8 months of in class activities and excuse me, and like 4 months of practicum. And the beautiful thing about the practicum is it kind of give you like an hands-on experience to like demonstrate or to learn all that you have to demonstrate all you have learned, and also to learn more skills like real life scenario. So what I would just say is that, and I think I also mentioned before that most of these courses can actually be done in hybrid format or even online. Hybrid format in the sense that you don't have to go to school every day. Like it might even be, I remember my first semester I did hybrid, and I didn't have to go to school every day. I only went to school like a week before, like a week, like for example, it could be this week I will go to school and the next week I wouldn't go to school. Like it was, I think they call it asynchronization, kind of. And it was fun. And it wasn't like school from 9 a.m. to like 6 p.m. It's usually around 3 p.m. to about 9 p.m. And it's not every day. It's about 3 times a week before I switched to online. And that was for a personal reason. And before you know it, it's over. Like I remember how I was so bent that I didn't want to go to school because I felt like schooling it's going to be a big chore for me, especially with kids and also working. But at the long run, I mean, going into it now, I found that it wasn't as difficult as I thought. It even gives you to like you have a better sense of what is going on in the country, like the better sense of the culture. Because oh my god, I enjoyed my class, I enjoyed my lecturer, and I miss them. Like I wish I could still come to class frequent because they, besides the black and white or everything they write in the PowerPoint slides, it's not like a typical school thing that we are all used to, especially if you're coming from Nigeria like myself. It's more like your lecturers, and you have a PowerPoint, you're just both of you discussing, they're asking you a question, what do you think? And also, like in your class is very multicultural, like the person beside you might be an Indian, Korean, Chinese, your group mates. It's just fun. And there's some unspoken rules or unspoken things that you just pick up, observations. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, the assignments, yes, even when you're taking your test, an open book, it's not like you have to like memorize and cram and all the like, you get what I'm trying to say. And even if it's online, you have like your assignments, you have your PowerPoint given to you, it's self-paced, but yet you have some deadlines. And it's not, yeah, I'm not saying it's not challenging, but it's not difficult. So another thing, before I actually move to another point, if you're just not yet getting what um your desired job, you may want to actually consider getting an education. And the beautiful thing about this Canadian education is that a lot of you can even switch career. I remember there's somebody in my class that the guy finished from business management and is in my class, which is literally like from moving from A to B. So I love it. I love the dynamism. I love how interesting the classes are. So it's not so boring. You can, usually take it if you have the time, and you should create the time to actually take it. So the next thing that I talked about was mentorship. I talked about that mentorship is very important. There are different assistance program, employment assistance program in town, and I remember there is Achieve. They have talked about it on my YouTube channel. I remember there is TIRAC, which is the one I signed up for mentorship, and it was a career changing experience for me. So the program actually linked me up with a mentor who was also in my field. We had lots of conversation. I was able to onboard him with her. She was able to connect me with several people. And I've also like recommended the platform to some of my friends and say that even though it's not like the mentor landed me my job, but in the process of it, just like what somebody would say that if you're knocking a door, it wasn't the last punch that got the door open, but the accumulation of all the efforts that you have gathered, why not? Okay. So it was all the things she shared with me, the tips she shared with me that I actually used in my interview, and it just got better. So I recommend mentorship if you want to, like, if you're finding it difficult, you need somebody in your, I mean, you can actually look for all those courses online or platforms online, mentoring platforms online. And unfortunately, I've had people say that I've had some people share the experience of how their mentor gave them recommendation to even get the job, because recommendation is a thing here in Canada. And I'm telling you, mentorship recommendation, because nobody can recommend you if they don't know you. You get it? So mentorship recommendation, they kind of go in hand. If you can assist an industry expert in your chosen field or in your field of interest, mentor you, I feel like the chances of you getting a job quicker than you think, it's high. So another thing is that you want to network, which is all together. I mean, mentorship, networking, recommendation, references. It's all like they're just like all in the same parent family, like family name. So what I'm saying is that beyond the fact that you are sitting behind your camera and you're applying for many jobs or taking all the 10 jobs per day or 5 jobs per day, you want to network, you want to go for events, you want to go, just go and check eventbrite.ca. You definitely know the events that are happening in your city, and you want to deliberately be part of it. Like, you don't just want to be sitting down and applying for jobs alone. There are a lot of career fairs that you want to do, even though I don't 100% recommend career fairs, because I heard about the fact that a lot of people usually come, and at the end of the day, it's definitely like a waste of time. Because of the number, I think the number always defeat the purpose. But there are some closed door career fairs that I have gotten opportunity to gotten invite from. I couldn't attend. I haven't attended any. But it's what I'm just saying. This point is like network, speak to people, go out, go to churches, go for associations. If you're a Muslim, go to mosques, go to just meet people, speak yourself, meet people, tell people about you. I remember that. It was through networking. And the thing about networking can be done online and on site. I remember there was a time I was focusing on online networking by meeting people on LinkedIn. And the resume that I currently use, which is one page resume, it was somebody I met on LinkedIn that helped me. And he was like, just telling me that if this resume that you have might post the level of overqualification for anybody that wants to hire you. Not that I'm saying you should tone it down, but there's a way you can actually just avoid too much story and just say the key point, and that's it. And I still use the resume till today. And I've told the person like, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much. So it was online. There are some people that have actually like scheduled like a coffee chat with me online, telling me about their experiences. And I can tell you, yes, some work, some will not work, some will respond to you, some will not respond to you. And that's why physical networking actually do better than online networking, because at times I remember there was one of the networking that I did online, and I messaged the person in August and I got a response in August, but we didn't get to meet until October. And when we meet, I'm like, who does this? But it is true. Everybody is busy. People are busy. Like even me, though I have just been in this country for a while. If you message me, I may not instantly respond to you. In fact, I have two WhatsApp platform. I only get to visit one frequently because even if I am not busy, I want to rest. You get that kind of thing. So when the person actually like I messaged the person in August and she told me no, she's all tied up and the next time she has is October. I'm like October, September, August, September, October, like so, but that's it. People are actually busy. So, but you want to, that's like physical networking, go online, not just career fairs. You just want to go for a random event that are in line with what you do. And at the long run, who knows, you might eventually get the job. So here is what I'm saying is that pick just use all of these strategies that I've shared with you, from the fact that I say you should volunteer, for the fact that I say games of number but quality numbers, for the fact that I say you should even consider getting Canadian education, from the fact I said did I talk about certification? So I'm not sure if I've earlier mentioned certification, but just in case I have not, because I didn't get to watch all of the videos, let's talk about certification. Certification is very, very important in Canada. I remember there's some jobs that I applied, in my early days when I was applying, because I have experience in project management, I have experience in project coordination, and so many jobs that I know that fit with my career profile and my experience. But unfortunately, most of these job adverts usually say that PMP is an asset or PMP is required. And look at me, I don't have PMP because I just felt like I never needed it at that. I mean, I didn't do it because nobody likes exam. But what am I saying is that if you know that your industry of choice requires certification, you want to invest in it. You want to do certification. You want to do certification because it's just what it is. It is just what it is. If you say that you're an expert in this field, then you should do the relevant certification in it. At least if you're not doing the top cadre or the top tier, you want to do something. At least do one of the certification. Who knows if I had PMP, maybe would have actually given me the job because there were a lot of interviews that I got, but along the way, maybe they got somebody that had PMP, which obviously will be a better, will be a better candidate. Now, I'm just going to be wrapping up this video by saying that Canada currently is experiencing a high influx of professionals, and these are people that understand. Maybe there are people that have different certificates with them. They had years of experience, expertise, that PhD holders, that MSc holder. Even myself, I have MSc. There are a lot of people with years and many years of experience, international exposure, and they are all here in Canada, still looking for the same job you're looking for. So just in case that you're wondering why is it like so difficult to actually secure a job or secure a dream job, I would say that you're not the only one in that show. And instead of you thinking about or just thinking maybe I should go back home, what I would say is that put in all those strategies, speak to people, get a mentor, network, consider schooling for a while, consider volunteering, and consider certification. I'm sure if you all do all of these things, before you know it, you will actually be heading towards a very good way. And one thing I would say is that, and I'm excited to share this because this channel I feel like this channel is for a purpose. What I would say is that even if it's just 2 months job that you got, like if it's just 2 months job that you got, please do it. Don't say, oh, I'm looking for what I'm just saying, that it's just a contract job that you got for a start. Don't say, oh, I want a full-time job, I want a regular job, I wouldn't take it. Please, the golden word that says that whatever your hands find doing, do it well, is still really real. It's still real. So what I would say is that even if it's just 2 month job or a contract job or or just a job that you found, please do it well. Do it well. You've seen people move from survivor job to being a managing director of a corporation or being the head of a department because it was in the course of whatever they are doing. Somebody noticed them and somebody felt like there is more to them. You don't know where your miracle will meet you. So, yes, looking for a job in Canada could be a full-time job and it requires a lot of strategies which I've earlier discussed. If you find this video helpful, I want you to like, to share, and to comment. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!